Looking for unbeatable deals on games and toys? Perfectly Picked Games goes live twice a week on the Whatnot app with exclusive auctions, Tuesdays and Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Use code GOLDENMOJO for 10% off your first win.
Hello, all you spooky chasers. Hop on in the car with Golden J and take a ride down Route 66 as you explore all the haunted and abandoned places left down a road long ghosted. And you never know what hitchhiker might get picked up along the way. So buckle up as we take a haunted trip down 66.
Hello, all of my paranormal freaks out there. It is I, Golden J, hanging out, doing a haunted trip down 66. That's right. We are traveling from Chicago to Santa Monica, and we're going to check into all of those haunted paranormal locations with a few extra bonuses along the way, like maybe some ghost towns that ain't necessarily paranormal related, but they are now considered ghost towns. So yeah, we'll check into those along the way. But for right now, we are hanging out in Alton, Illinois. One of the, well, if not the most haunted small town in the United States. And like I said before, man, 14 or 15 places in one small town, I don't know, man. That is a lot. So we're just having fun. We're just kind of bouncing around in Alton. It's a cute little town. It just has a lot of paranormal stuff going on. So get on your maps. Go check out. Walk around the streets of Alton. Go check it out. You know, see what's going on. And let me know. The United States of Paranormal at gmail.com. I'd love to hear what you guys think of this road trip so far. I know that, Shanna ate all of the damn Doritos while we were tooling around earlier at McPike Mansion. I don't know. What's up, girl? You're eating all my Doritos. Dang it. Oh, that ain't right. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. She bought another bag. It's all good. Oh, yeah. All right. You guys... there's no banter in the beginning of this, just me talking about a bunch of random stuff. But like, you can go to UnitedStatesParanormal.com to find all your merch. You can join us on Patreon, where you get to see me hanging out in the studio by myself. Just fun stuff like that. So yeah, go check out our Patreon, patreon.com/2sop. And of course, you can always email us, UnitedStatesParanormal at gmail.com. All right, let's get on. Next, we are off to the Alton State Hospital. The Alton State Mental Hospital is one of history's only mental hospitals from the early 1900s that's still in operation today. As with other haunted asylums we've covered, the patients of Alton State Hospital were subject to cruel and inhumane treatments under the guise of medical progress. Patients unlucky enough to land within its thick walls found themselves victims to the abuse that Alton State Hospital was famous for. In the autumn of 1912, the State Board of Administration, along with the state architect W. Carby Zimmerman, visited Upper Alton to find a site to build the new hospital for the insane and to relieve overcrowding in other hospitals. In 1913, Senator Edward Beale introduced a bill to the legislation for $500,000 to start construction on the hospital. By July of that same year, land was purchased by William Cartwright, Edward Rogers, and Colonel Andrew Rogers, and Harriet Kirkpatrick. The purchase included farmhouses and existing buildings. Frank Dinges was appointed to be the site manager. Just a year later, problems arose between some politicians in Chicago that wanted the state hospital to be built closer to the city center. There were difficulties with roadways, utilities, and transportation to the hospital that Alton officials claimed to be unaware of. Eventually, in March of 1914, cattle and other livestock started to arrive at the property. By 1915, work began on the hospital itself, and even though it was not officially open its doors to the public, small numbers of patients began to arrive on site as well. By October, 5 hospital buildings were complete, but not fully utilized. In October of 1916, underground passageways ran under the hospital site, high enough for people to walk in, and each had electrical wiring running through them. The smokestack for the powerhouse was also completed that same year. Finally, by 1917, the hospital was ready to welcome in patients from other hospitals. Dr. George Zeller, previously from the Peoria Insane Hospital, became Alton State's new superintendent. He was a pioneer in mental health and was credited for starting the movement that resulted in occupational therapy as a treatment for various mental health disorders. He believed strongly in the non-restraint policy, stating that caging patients did not heal them and believed that they should be free to roam as they please. No locks or bars existed on the doors or windows. Unfortunately, the policy started to trouble farmers on neighboring properties as patients began to escape the hospital and roam onto their properties, frightening children and residents. In 1922, hospital patients were even blamed for the burning of the Culp School. Like many other hospitals at the time, the hospital was also a working farm, which explains why the cattle and shit showed up earlier. It was believed that the work and responsibility was necessary in the treatment of mental health crisis. Alton State Hospital became well known for its gorgeous grounds. Patients were allowed to care for the cattle and other animals and plants, which included a well-stocked fish pond, apple orchard, and even tobacco crops. One patient even grew peanuts, which he then sold to Upper Alton. He sold in Upper Alton. In 1918, the hospital recognized the need for an attached cemetery for those who died and were unknown or unclaimed. Later, the hospital was even used to house shell-shock soldiers coming home from the horrors of World War I. In 1921, Dr. Zeller resigned his position at Alton State and returned to Peoria State Hospital, where he found mass amounts of neglect. He checked himself into the hospital for 3 days, living in different wards every night. His experience was so profound that he ordered that every member of the staff live life at the hospital as a inmate, as they were once called. He stepped down as hospital administration in 1935 and passed away on June 29, 1935. 1938. The death of Dr. Zeller removed a distinguished part of the community for the improvement of care of the mental health. His belief in lockness units and the zero restraint policy removed the stigma of those with mental illness and found other treatments to become more successful, such as occupational therapy. As with many hospitals, death and sorrow ran deep in the veins of Alton State Hospital. The energy felt here by the patients had stuck around, and the energy of former patients is a key ingredient for souls refusing to give up contact with the physical world. Today, staff at the current Alton Mental Hospital Center have had some of the strangest experiences of all. The hospital earned a reputation for mistreating patients, subjecting them to cruel treatments that sometimes lasted hours or days. Considered cutting-edge treatment at the time would be labeled as torture today. Staff and visitors reported hearing unusual sounds, disembodied voices, slamming doors, and nurses on duty report hearing a quiet voice that asks, "Who is that?" Other reports of sensations of being touched, and one photo even shows a bright orb with the vision of a man's face in agony. Boy, how far would you have to zoom in on that orb to see that in the... While the facility is still operational today, ghost investigators who manage to visit are told by the spirits to get out, properly being pushed out of the room. The most noted of the account of a nurse who heard someone whisper, "Who's that?" when she was alone on the floor. The same thing happened to a second nurse not long afterwards in the same exact spot. This is still a hospital day, so tours aren't allowed. Okay, so that was a brief history of the hospital and all the goody goods that went along with that. These mental hospitals were built, more for the tuberculosis stuff at the time to help relieve all that stuff, but mental health was still a big thing. So I do have one experience, one personal experience that I found. This is from Intelligent Desk 7383. And of course, you know me, I love my Reddit, so this is where this came from. I've done occasional DoorDash food deliveries on weekends to this facility, though. And the whole place seems to be under surveillance. A food drop-off always go to the people working in a green roof building near the back far end of the campus. That building looks far newer than everything else there and has a big parking lot next to it. The one time I tried to take a different road back out after doing a delivery, a security vehicle started following me and made me turn around. I thought when I read this on Reddit, it was very interesting. To the point is why would security make such an effort to turn somebody around? Are they hiding something in those other buildings? This is a question. Maybe they just don't want people roaming around the property. That's always a possibility too. So take it for what it is. But, yeah, there you go. The Alton State Mental Hospital. Come on, guys. You gotta love a good mental hospital. Well, let's go on over to the Milton School. Right? Let's do it. It is located at 1320 Milton Road. Let's get into the details of the Milton School history. All right. In 1904, the schoolhouse was built and opened as a elementary school. In the 1930s, 2 additions were added to the north and south sides of the original building, followed by a gymnasium in 1937. Robert Wadlow, the world's tallest man, graduated from Alton High School in 1936, but had attended Milton in the 3rd grade, and he died in 1940. Now remember, we're talking about Milton, the elementary school, whereas Robert actually graduated from the high school, but he was in the 3rd grade at the elementary. In 1986, the school closed its doors to students. And then in 1990, the schoolhouse was acquired by Integlo Leve Glass and Giftware, who used it as a decorative glass factory. He's changing a school into a glass factory. In 1998, the business closed and the building remains vacant. In 2013, the building reopened with a variety of small businesses, and a Mave's Coffee opened the following year. In 2019, the current owner, Doug Mattingly, purchased the building and began extensive renovations. Today, the Milton Schoolhouse is home to Market at Milton, which includes the coffee house and other businesses. So there you go. So let's get some of the stories in the haunting of the elementary. One of the biggest stories is about a young girl named Mary. She was staying late one night after school to work on a project when the janitor working that night spotted her. Now what goes through your mind of a piece of shit like this is beyond me. But he grabbed Mary, drug her down to the locker room, and had his way with her before he killed her. I don't think that there was ever any doubt that the people of Alton and Milton thought it was him. There was never a doubt. They thought it was him the whole time. But a few days later, they found him hanging in the school with a note saying, "I did it." I don't even know how you come back from that. Rumors, stories, and whispers, legends floating about the school for years, and while students would never learn that the building had a dark and tainted past, others would not be so lucky. During the years when the school was still open, many students spoke of strange encounters in the building, odd events, unexplained sounds, and a strange shadow that didn't belong. Many of these stories would be dismissed as nothing more than a creepy old building settling on its foundations, or the overactive imagination of elementary school students. But others would not. Many former students can tell stories of strange experiences in the old school, and also tales of their friends' encounter with Mary. Years later, when Integlo Designs took over the building, some of the employees of the company began to notice some very particular things were going on in the place as well. Footsteps were being heard in the dark hallways at night when no one else was there. Items began to appear and disappear around the office, and soon one of the staff members even spotted the apparition of the small girl. What was that, Mary? I'm thinking it might be. This little girl even reportedly became very attached to one particular employee of the business, a young woman named Vicky. Of course, that name has been changed to save whoever that person really is. The spirit began to make frequent and sometimes unnerving appearances in her office, which was located at the bottom of the stairway outside of the gymnasium. It is not uncommon to find that things in the room had been moved from place to place. She would also sometimes catch a glimpse of the girl out of the corner of her eye, playing quietly or sitting on the stairs near her office. On other occasions, Bobbi would come into the office to find that someone had been tapping on the keys to her computer keyboard, leaving behind patterns of X's and O's. There had been no one in the office at the time. While the ghost of the little girl was completely benevolent and was in fact welcomed by Bobbi, the problem was that she did not haunt the school alone. Other presences also in the building, and this one was described by Bobbi as being very threatening. The staff believed that this other ghost was a janitor who had taken the girl's life so many years ago. He was apparently still trapped in the building where he had committed this terrible act. Bobbi, who had grown attached to Mary, now nervously found herself being stalked by the janitor's more malevolent ghost. According to a reliable witness, Bobbi became absolutely terrified by the unseen presence in the building. The majority of her encounters with the ghost took place on the stage area of the gym and down in the hallway behind the girls' shower room. Near the shower room, other staff members had also reported an unsettling presence that could cause them to become short of breath and feel a panic sensation. On many occasions, glass items were left near one particular former shower stall, which traditionally holds as where Mary's body was found, were reportedly found to be shattered into pieces. No explanation could be found to why this was occurring. Eventually, Bobbi became so frightened by the things that were going on that she simply refused to work in the building at night. Eventually, she left her job, and although this was several years ago, strange things continue to happen at the Milton School today. Other activities include noises in the boiler room, footsteps, shadow figures seen in the basement near the stairway to the front door, a shadow figure of a person peeking into the second floor classroom from the hallway. Milton School has changed hands a few times over the years. After the glass factory, it now serves as both residential and commercial properties with businesses on the lower floors and apartments upstairs. The Milton School was featured on the October 2010 Ghost Hunters Taps TV show on the Sci-Fi Channel and has been a featured stop on ghost tours in Alton over the decades. It's terrible, you know. Poor Bobbi was attached to Mary. Mary was attached to Bobbi, and then the one thing that took Mary from this world also took Bobbi away from Mary. And if Mary isn't an angry fucking spirit by now, I don't know who is. So I would think that she would do everything in her ghostly power to rid that fucking janitor of that place and try to, well, maybe she just needs to move on herself and get out, you know, find that light, little girl, go home. Anyway, Alton, Illinois, the Milton School and the mental hospital. Just a couple more stops while we're on our Route 66 tour in Alton. So, hope you guys enjoyed those quick little stories about a couple places. And we are going to, next episode, still be hanging out in Alton. So, hang in there. We got a lot to get to in this little old town. Hey, don't forget, we are on Patreon, patreon.com/2shop. You can visit us at our website, UnitedStatesParanormal.com. We have an amazing merch store on there with all kinds of cool things to look at and to wear around and help support your favorite podcast, or at least one that you listen to if you're listening to me right now. May not be your favorite. I know. Maybe it's not your favorite. Maybe it is. Let me know. The United States of Paranormal at gmail.com. Let me know. Are you guys liking the trip on 66? It's been fun researching all these places. And there's still a lot to go, though. We're not even out of Illinois yet. Good Lord. Still got a lot of states to check out. But like I said, we'll be back in Alton next week for a couple more places. So hang in there. Until next week, keep it spooky. And I'll see you on the other side. Thank you for listening to the United States of Paranormal podcast. Check us out at theunitedstatesofparanormal.com, where you can find our Spotlight of the Month, Fan of the Month, and all of our amazing merchandise. Or you can find us on social media at Facebook at the United States of Paranormal, Instagram at the United States of Paranormal, and YouTube at the United States of Paranormal 1795. And don't forget, we are now on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/2sop.
Please check out the other podcasts in the Golden Mojo Entertainment Network of podcasts. Golden 80s, Indiana Chiefs Fans, Gridiron Kings, Murd Nerds, The Nostalgia Tug, Real Terror, and the Puck Yeah podcast. But you can still find Golden Image Podcast, A Quart of Books and Booze, and The Call Guys, wherever you stream your favorite podcasts.
And if you have a location or a story that you would like for us to check into, please email us at the United States of Paranormal at gmail.com. Please like, rate, and subscribe wherever you listen. Thank you for all of your support. Bye.